Journey to Dream Country. After the Mad Frobscuttle party was over, Sophie settled herself again on top of the enormous table. "You is feeling better now?" asked the big friendly giant. "Much better, thank you." "Whenever I is feeling a bit scrotty," the BFG said, "a few gollops of Frobscuttle is always making me hopscotchy again." "I must say, it's quite an experience," Sophie said. "It's a rat twizzler," said the BFG. "It's gloriumptious." He turned away and strode across the cave and picked up his dream-catching net. "I is galloping off now," he said, "to catch some more wapsy-whiffling dreams from my collection. I is doing this every day without missing. Is you wishing to come with me?" "Not me, thank you very much," Sophie said. "Not with those other giants lurking outside." "I is snuggling you very cozy into the pocket of my waistcoat," the BFG said. "Then no one is seeing you." Before Sophie could protest, he had picked her up off the table and popped her into the waistcoat pocket. There is plenty of room in there. "Is you wishing for a little hole to peep out from?" he asked her. "There's one here already," she said. She had found a small hole in the pocket, and when she put one eye close to it, she could see out very well indeed. She watched the BFG as he bent down and filled his suitcase with empty glass jaws. He closed the lid, picked up the suitcase in one hand, took the pole with the net on the other hand, and marched toward the entrance of the cave. As soon as he was outside, the BFG set off across the great hot yellow wasteland where the blue rocks lay and the dead trees stood, and where all the other giants were skulking about. That's a real word, by the way, skulking. Sophie, squatting low on her heels in the pocket of the leather waistcoat, had one eye glued to the little hole. She saw the group of enormous giants about 300 yards away. Hold your breaths, the BFG whispered down to her. "Cross your figures, here we go. We's going right past all these other giants. Is you seeing that whopping great one, the one nearest to us?" "I see him," Sophie whispered back, quivering. "That is the horriblest of them all, and the biggest of them all. He is called the flesh-lump-eating giant." "I don't want to hear about him," Sophie said. "He is 54 feet high," the BFG said softly as he jogged along, "and he's swallowing human beings like they're sugar lumps, 2 or 3 at a time." "You're making me nervous." "I is nervous myself. I always get as jumpy as a jog hopper when the flesh-lump-eating giant is around." "Keep away from him." "Not possible," the BFG answered. "He is galloping easily 2 times as quickly as me." "Shall we turn back?" Sophie said. "Turning back is worse. If they is seeing me running away, they is all giving chase and throwing rocks." "They would never eat you, though, would they?" "Giants is never guzzling other giants," the BFG said. "They is fighting and squirreling a lot with each other, but never guzzling. Human beings is more tasty to them." The giant had already spotted the BFG, and all heads were turned, watching him as he jogged forward. He was aiming to pass well to the right of the group. Through her little peephole, Sophie saw the flesh-lump-eating giant moving over to intercept them. He didn't hurry. He just sloped over casually to a point where the BFG would have to pass. The others loped after him. Sophie counted 9 of them altogether, and she recognized the blood bottler in the middle of them. They were bored. They had nothing to do until nightfall. There was an air of menace about them as they loped along across the plain with long, lolloping strides, heading for the BFG. Pause for 1 second. "Here comes the runty one!" boomed the flesh-lump-eater. "Ho, there, runty one! Where is you splatch-winkling away to in such a hefty hurry?" He shot out an enormous arm and grabbed the BFG by the hair. The BFG didn't struggle. He simply stopped and stood quite still and said, "Be so kind as to be letting go of my hair, flesh-lump-eater." The flesh-lump-eater released him and stepped back a pace. The other giants stood around them, waiting for the fun to start. "Now then, you little grub-squiffler!" boomed the flesh-lump-eater. "We is wanting to know where you is galloping off to every day in the daytime. Nobody ought to be galloping off to anywhere until it is getting dark. The human beings could easily be spotting you and starting a giant hunt, and we is not wanting that to happen, is we not?" "We is not," shouted the other giants. "Go back to your cave, runty one." "I is not galloping to any human being country," the giant said. "I is going to other places." "I is thinking," said the flesh-lump-eater, "that you is catching human beings and keeping them as pets." "Right you is," cried the blood bottler. Just now I was hearing him chittering away to one of them in his cave. You was welcome to go and search my cave from frack to bunt. I love that. It's another one of my favorites, right up there with Skin and Groans. You can go looking into every crook and nanny, nook and cranny, crook and nanny. There is no human beans or stringy beans or runner beans or jelly beans or any other beans in there. Sophie, there is no human beans or stringy beans or runner beans or jelly beans or any other bean in there. Wrong giant voice, sorry. Sophie crouched still as a mouse inside the BFG's pocket. She hardly dared breathe. She was terrified she might sneeze. The slightest sound of movement would give her away. Through the tiny people, she watched the giants clustering around the poor BFG. How revolting they were. All of them had piggy little eyes and enormous mouths. When the flesh lump eater was speaking, she got a glimpse of his tongue. It was jet black like a slab of black steak. Every one of them was more than twice as tall as the BFG. So the BFG's 24 feet is, and the flesh lump eater is the tallest at 54 feet. Seems like they all range between like 48 and 54 feet. Suddenly, the flesh lump eater shot out two enormous hands and grabbed the BFG around the waist. He tossed him high into the air and shouted, "Caught you, manhugger!" The manhugger caught him. The other giants spread out quickly in a large circle, each giant about 20 yards from his neighbor, preparing for the game they were going to play. Now the manhugger threw the BFG high and far, shouting, "Catch him, Bone Cruncher!" The Bone Cruncher ran forward and caught the tumbling BFG and immediately swung him up again. "Catch him, Chonchoer!" he shouted, and so it went on. The giants were playing ball with the BFG, vying, that means contesting, like competing, vying with each other to see who could throw him the highest. Sophie dug her nails into the sides of the pocket, trying to prevent herself from tumbling out when she was upside down. She felt as though she were in a barrel going over the Niagara Falls. And all the time there was the fearful danger that one of the giants would fail to catch the BFG and he'd go crashing to the ground.